Hello, my name is Tessa. I am the reason to sail home on Tumblr, and I am the second host of Pod Over After, a bi-weekly podcast in which my friend Alana and I rewatch Once Upon a Time and scream at the audience. No, we tell you all of our wacky thoughts, and yeah, I think that's essentially it. So we had the idea to do introductory videos that you could kind of get to know us and see us talking for once. And so Alana already posted hers, and if you haven't watched it yet, you can press pause on this and go and watch it. It's already on the blog. And if not, if you've already watched it, or you just want to watch this one, but Alana's pretty cute, so I would check her out, then I will hop right in. So we asked some of our followers to ask us anything they wanted to know. They could be wacky questions. That is the second time in a minute that I have used the word wacky, and I've not used that word in my entire life. So I think that's where we're at right now. But we asked our followers to send us questions that could be like really deep and profound, or things that are a bit funny and interesting, or whatever you wanted to ask. So we got about 10 questions, 7 asks, and I'm going to answer them to the best of my ability, because who knows me better than myself? Probably a few other people, but maybe even Alana. We'll see. So the first question is, your online personality and your real life character are usually two very separate things. Have there ever been moments where you realized Once Upon a Time made an impact, like changing your opinion or doing something you probably wouldn't have done before? Well, my real life personality and my online personality are pretty similar, I will say. I know that that's not the case for some people, because it's easier for some to socialize on social media, just because it eliminates the challenge of face-to-face interaction, which some people struggle with. But typically I am just as awkward online, just as strange and wacky. No, I'm going to stop using that word. Just as strange and nerdy as I am in real life. And most people that know me in real life and online can attest to that. But I don't really think that Once Upon a Time, like being in the fandom or watching Once Upon a Time, has really changed anything other than the fact that it kind of gave me the idea, sort of, to analyze characters. I am a writer, and I am going to school for psychology. So a lot of my life is spent analyzing the minds of people that may or may not exist. And I don't know why before Once Upon a Time I really never did that before. I would do it with, like, if I really liked a character, I would really want to know them inside and out. So I would psychoanalyze them. And I'm used to psychoanalyzing things just because of the nature of my studies. But I'm just before that, and because I'm a writer, when you write, you have to know your characters just as well as if you would, if you were living as them. And because to have a good novel or story or whatever you're writing, like a script, you have to have diverse characters. So sometimes it's a challenge for the writer. I know I go through this all the time, to not only write characters that are different from each other, but also writing them well so that they've got their own idiosyncrasies and their quirks and their faults and their strengths and things that clash with other characters. It just, the list goes on, and it's a lot harder than it looks. And if you write fan fiction, and chances are you might write your own original stuff, then you know that. So I think that being in the fandom of Once Upon a Time and writing fan fiction has given me, has opened the door to, so to speak, to getting some practice at doing that. And it's definitely a good place to do it too, because people will bounce ideas off each other. It's a good place for someone to offer some ideas, and then to match that with someone else's ideas. Is then by the end of the day we have a really good theory of what a character is like. That was a pretty good question. It was deep, profound. I hope my answer lived up to the question. And next comes the hard one. And I'm gonna ask the hard question here. Fuck, marry, kill. Killian Jones, David Nolan, or Robin Hood? I feel like this was sent as a form of torture. I am not pleased with this at all. I think I will have to take the route that Alana did and Robin Hood. I'm sorry. I really, really, really like Robin Hood, and I was really upset when he died. But there's no part of me that can take a knife to Killian Jones, who has already been stabbed 1,000 times, or David Nolan, who is sweet Kiwi in my life. That leaves the other two. I think I would marry David because Anon says that marrying means no sex. So I think I could live without having sex with David. But he would be a good dad, a good husband. He's proved that time and time again. And then that means that the last one would mean that I would get to take our favorite captain to bed. That's kind of stressful to think about, because we've all been there. Yep. Okay. Great. Anyway, I don't remember if that was the same as Alana's questions, but we'll see. The next ask has 3 questions, so I'll try to zoom. Is watching Once Upon a Time a sacred thing to you? Is it your own quality time where you don't want to be disturbed, or is it something that you share with family and friends? I will say, when I mentioned like, oh, my favorite show, such and such happened, and people are like, what's your favorite show? And I'm like, Once Upon a Time. And they're like, oh, I love that show. I'm like, oh my god, you love Once Upon a Time? So do I. I'll tell you right now. Like, if I meet strangers, that they're like, oh, I love Once Upon a Time, I'm like, let's be best friends. But other than that, a lot of people don't like the show because they don't like the storyline, they don't like the characters, they might not like the writing, they might have started it and then gotten tired of it. And those people have a tendency to judge me for my loving of the show. And for that, I'm bitter. So I will say that watching Once Upon a Time is a sacred time in which I like to be respected. I don't like to be teased when I'm watching my show. That is like my safe space, the thing that I really like to enjoy, my one-on-one with the fairy tale world, and people are teasing me on the side. I'm just kind of like, really? But yeah. So it's sacred in that, mess with me and I'll kick you. But other than that, I mean, I like to watch it when it's quiet in the house, when people have gone to bed, and I also like watching it with Alana. We watch it. We watched season 6 mostly live with each other. She would watch it an hour later than I did, but we would send each other reactions. And then we're doing that now with the podcast, where most episodes we are texting, so that we're having a one-on-one conversation while the story is unfolding. Okay, and then the second one is, if you could change one thing in the show, a character, a plotline, or whatever, what would it be? 2 things. 2 plot things. The first one is I would erase the majority of 4B and leave the Captain Swan. I didn't like the stuff with the villains. I mean, I liked Ursula enough, but I didn't love Cruella and Maleficent as much. I wasn't sold. And I also didn't like David and Snow kind of sacrificing Lily for the sake of their daughter. I felt like that was a really weird plot thing to do. But I did like how that part of the season did develop Captain Swan a bit more. So I would leave that, change everything else. The other thing would be to, boy, I'm a klutz. That's the other thing you gotta know about me, I'm a klutz. The other thing I would change would probably be the whole plot with David and Killian. I didn't love how they promoted it to look like Killian killed David's father, and then that was actually what happened. Normally, the theories that fans make are wrong, and they try to pick something that's out of the box. That was really predictable. And I think a lot of people in the fandom were a bit disappointed. But in the end, I hated it at the time. And then by the time it was concluded, I think I was just too excited about Captain Swan getting married to be bitter about it anymore. There's only so much I can be bitter for like a length of time. So the next question is, other than your fave ships, what are your favorite dynamics in the show, like enemies, friends, or family-wise? I really like Killian and Bella. I like how that got fleshed out in season 6, where they went from being two people that really disliked each other to finding somewhat of a kinship in the things that they have in common, like books, or being in love with the Dark One, or just having complicated love lives, and overall being compassionate people. I really like Captain Cobra, which should be good in season 6 or 7. That's this many. And then kind of on the flip side of things, I really like David and Emma as father and daughter. I think that, you know, David kind of had an idea of what type of father he planned on being, and then he gave that up for Emma's sake, for the sake of her happiness, when he gave her up in the wardrobe. And now that she's a grown woman, he's had to adjust his parenting style, I think, from the way he wanted to. Yeah. Other than that, I kind of liked the little bit of Tiger Lily and Killian that we got, where she's like, I'm ready to kill you, but also let's be temporary friends. And then like right as Killian leaves, Tiger Lily's like, yes, get your lady, my friends. Yeah, we did it. So I like that. The next question is, what tropes are your fave tropes? And then which ones don't you like? Like which ones are squicky? I really, you know, anyone that knows me or follows me, it's right on the front page of my blog, knows me that I adore Lieutenant Duckling, simply for the fact that it's unique to the Captain Swan fandom. And I've seen a lot of criticism where people are kind of like, that seems a little bit wrong, because it's like a definition of the two kind of, well, two, because Lieutenant Duckling can be taken two ways. It can either mean a younger Killian and Emma in a modern setting, or Lieutenant Jones and then Princess Emma in the Enchanted Forest setting, which doesn't necessarily have to be younger. But in almost all the fics I've read, with the exception of one or two kind of weird ones that people don't talk about, Emma and Killian as characters have been of consenting age for whatever happens in the fic. So the criticism for that trope doesn't really stand up. But I really like it because I really love fantasy sort of things. I like things that are like fairy tales, hence why I watch the show. And I think it's really interesting to see Killian and Emma fall in love in the Enchanted Forest setting. I guarantee like 75% of the fics start with like, there's a ball, it's grand, it's beautiful, and Lieutenant Jones looks across the room and there is Princess Emma Misty. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, And even though I've like read them all 1,000 times and I already know what's gonna happen, I'm just like, he's fallen in love with her. He's fallen in love with her. But yeah, so that's my favorite trope. And then the thing I don't like in fics, I never used to like cop AUs. The police kind of scare me. And so seeing Killian and Emma as cops kind of sometimes makes me go, But hopefully that changes. And then I think the last thing I don't like in fics is when you got a really great writer who has good characterization and good setting development and good plots and a great idea. And for the first 10 chapters, there's a lot of interesting story, a lot of tension building between the characters. The characters are falling in love, and then bam, they sleep with each other. That's fine. It gets to be the point, but then where I don't like it is then after that, the story becomes less about what is said in the summary and more about how many different ways can Killian Jones and Emma Swan have sex. And I think there are definitely people who would love to read that. And if that is you, I am so happy because a lot of those exist. I think that there's moods in which someone might be in to read that type of fic. But if I'm looking for something with a bit more substance than just sex, it's disappointing to invest a lot of time into a fic and then have it just be about, you know, the way that their sexual relationship develops, because then the relationship as people suffers as a result. So, yeah. And then the next question. I locked my phone. Has watching Once Upon a Time and being in the fandom helped you guys in some way? Or changed your lives, views, and opinions? Anon says, because Once Upon a Time got me through some tough times, and that's something I'll always be grateful for, no matter how much some parts of it drive me bananas. I think Once Upon a Time was for me, like it was for most people, kind of like a safe haven out of the crazy lives that we live. I've been watching it since about, well, I watched it just before I went to high school. I think I was 13 or 14 when it first aired, so I watched the first season when it aired. And then I went to high school and stopped watching it, and then my best friend told me, look, you might want to start it up again because there's Peter Pan and a sexy Captain Hook, and you're gonna like it. And so then that was kind of like, as I grew up as a teenager and then into college, I'm going into my second year of college. So it helped me keep some of that youthful fun in my life as I kind of blossomed into an adult. And I still am, and it kind of gives me a way to live up to the responsibilities that I have, you know, with paying bills and going to school and having a job and, you know, all the regular adult stuff. But also having a place to, at the end of the day, come back and say, once upon a time, there was a princess and her pirate. Where it, yeah, to just remind myself that happily ever afters do exist. And then the last question is, are we excited for season 7? I'm the eternal optimist. I think season 7 is going to be fine. I think there are definitely going to be points that disappoint me. But I mean, if I'm gonna keep this spoiler free. If you know what season 7 is about, if I were to read that as a fic summary, I'd be like, I want to read this fic right now. I would read all of it. And the fact that I am going to be watching it makes me a bit more. It raises my expectations and makes me a bit cautious. But at the end of the day, I'm not very easy to please, or I'm not hard to please. Alana is wait. I am easy to please. Alana is not easy to please. There we go. I have done this video 3 times now, so I'm kind of losing my voice and kind of losing my head. But as long as, you know, it keeps me entertained, as long as the essence of the characters are still there, then I think it'll be okay. But that's it from me. I think I've been talking probably a little too long. I tend to do that. But I hope that this has opened your eyes to me a little bit more. And if you haven't already, drop by and get more acquainted with Alana. And this Wednesday, we will be releasing our new episode, so I hope that you tune in. It's really funny. We just recorded it last night, and I listened to it, and it's really funny. So I hope that you all kind of tune in for that, and maybe I should end this the way that I always do. Thank you again for watching, and I hope that you live pot ever after.